Hey folks, and welcome to another video at Car Thrust. Now, this one is quite special, and I've teased about it in the previous video if you watched it in full. So this one is about an electric car. Hey folks, so welcome to another video at Car Thrust. And now if you think that my tone is a bit forced, it's because I have to change and adapt to make it more understandable for people. These are the comments that I received from some people for both videos on my personal channel as well as on the Car Thrust channel, that the accent, if you may, is not very much understandable. And I'll also reduce the speed and make it a bit more interactive by making it in English. So you will have to decide if you want it forced or flowing, but I that's something we'll have to choose. Anyway, let's shift our focus back to the car at hand, which is the Tigor EV. Now, this is essentially a facelift, even though the previous one was not available to the public, but this time it is. It uses the Ziptron technology. It's just rupees 2 lakh cheaper than the Nexon EV, which puts a lot of question marks. And if you're thinking of buying it, well, then this video is for you, because there are certain things that you must know about that car, and there must be certain questions that you need answered for that car, which will be answered, hopefully, in this first drive review video. Let's get on with it.
Cabin is really quiet, bhai.
There is no noise.
The best part is because Tata uses good tires, so there's very little road noise as well. वो तो इनके petrol engines, they are not that refined.
Yes.
इसलिए उनमें थोड़ा सा noise आता है.
Yes.
When it's an electric vehicle, it's strangely quiet. And of course, the ride's going to be smooth. It's electric.
Yes.
So
Suspension
it's
are very good.
yeah. It's almost the same as the normal Tigor, because there's no difference, and usually Tata's ride is very nice. It's very planted on the road all the time, even on highways. It shows 185 kilometers and 80% battery remaining.
Yes.
So somewhere around 220, 230 miles per kilometer.
You can drive it. You can use in sports mode.
Yeah.
Just drive for a while. Process speed नहीं अपना driving mode पे.
I want to see the NVH levels as well. The pickup is very good. The pickup is smooth, but it's not as fast as the Nexon EV.
No.
Yeah, no, it's sport mode though. 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds, I think, but it's still quite a bit slower than Nexon EV.
Yes. And in Tigor EV na, there is 26.2 kilowatt battery.
Yeah. Also,
The
the
motor is 95 kilowatts in Nexon, and this 74 kilowatts.
75 horsepower and 129 horsepower. That's the difference. And
Yes,
torque,
yes.
mein, there's difference. This has only 170
Yes,
Nm. That
yes.
has 245.
Yes.
So I think that's the major issue with the Tigor EV. It's just 2 lakh rupees cheaper than the Nexon EV.
Yes.
And it's offering way less power, which is my only concern, because the Nexon offers 312 kilometers of range.
Yes.
This offers only 306, so even that is reduced, which is the ARAI claim. And it's significantly more expensive than normal Tigor,
Yes.
which is a bit of an issue for me, because I was considering it, really I was expecting it to be somewhere around the 10 lakh mark.
10-11 we are expecting too. If a top model come in 11 lakh.
Yeah, 11 and a half was
Yes.
fine for top model.
Yes, yes.
There's so much water, but I think the batteries are IP67,
IP67,
right?
Yes.
And a spare wheel, instead of the spare wheel we have the battery setup, so the
Yes.
spare wheel eats up in the boot space.
Yes.
Which is again these are some things that they should have figured out. First, and secondly, if I'm paying so much extra, I don't like for Tigor it's fine because it's a cheaper car. It should have changed.
Yes.
And also the MID, the Nexon has such a good MID. This has a very basic feel to it, even though they are asking a lot of premium.
Well, I think I got a bit carried away there. Anyway, what I wanted was, put a screen right there in the black spot that's on the dash, or put everything and make it entirely clean like a Tesla, but no, I don't want a Tesla because I don't want the build quality issues. Anyway, this is a smaller car. It's everything. It's smaller than everything. I don't like the dash, and you wouldn't either. And it doesn't make you feel special. Nobody would, you wouldn't feel that you spent 12 lakhs. So basically, it's not a very value for money car.
For the normal.
Yes.
So we are on normal drive mode.
Yes, we are on drive now.
Okay. So the range has reduced, I think, because we drove in sport mode. The range has reduced a bit. That's some effect. This is the economy. I think the range economy. This car is good for city driving.
Yes.
This is what I think. I think still for highways, I wouldn't.
Prices there and the infrastructure is not developed.
Yeah,
That's
Tata
why-
Power is building that
Yes,
up,
yes.
but dynamic guidelines in reverse.
Yes.
And of course, in terms of safety,
It's very good, sir. It's
the
4-star
only
rating at,
reason I would.
brake दबाएं? No.
Oh, no, it's still not.
You can do
Okay.
मतलब अगर if a kid is standing
Yeah,
वो इस
yeah.
तरीके से कर रहा है,
So
you are
it
not
won't.
pushing a brake, तो वो नहीं चलेगी गाड़ी.
It's a standing start. I want to see if it to 40-50. Picks up very quickly. It's strange how fast it picks up. But the whine, the motor's whine, it's like you're in a jet engine or something.
Yes.
The whine is pretty cool. It almost reminds me of the Porsche Taycan. The ride is pretty good. There's no doubt about that. Like I don't feel the bumps as much as I feel in my Verna. I have a Verna, and it's a very low slung car, so I feel a lot of bumps in that car. But the ride is pretty good in this one. An issue. You can learn to drive with this, but in terms of an accident, this is going to be much safer.
Yes.
This is a 4-star rated car, only car in the world that has been tested in GNCAV, which is electric, and it's 4-star rated. So I think if they would have priced it at 10 or 10 and a half,
11 lakh तक भी बहुत
yeah,
अच्छा था.
it was
11
still fine.
Yes, if 11 lakh is the price ना, मतलब मजा आ जाता.
This is a bit too expensive because starting is 11.99 lakh, which is, to me, it's a bit much. It's a bit much for this.
But in terms of क्या बोलते हैं, safety and in terms of
definitely. There is no doubt that it's going to be much safer than if you buy any other car in this price range.
You see, you hear a lot of journalists and YouTubers alike, along with certain customers who believe that Tata cars have really broad A-pillars and that they hamper vision. I don't really buy it, because first of all, that's the reason that Tata cars are strong. Not just the chassis is strong, but the pillars as well, and that's why the roof doesn't collapse. You've heard stories of a Tata Hexa that flipped over 11 times, and yet its roof didn't collapse. It stayed there. And I don't really mind it if that happens, because we know of certain other brands that are selling really cheaply made cars and certain brands that are selling well-made cars outside India, with the same cars being sold at a much cheaper build quality, much worse build quality in India.
But you still can't take it to a highway. You still cannot take it to a highway.
when infrastructure is developed now, you can take it.
तब तो
Within
still,
6 months, there are 35,
Yeah.
35 charging stations are coming in Rajasthan. So they have a plan to क्या बोलते हैं, establish charging points in every 100 kilometers. So they are planning.
That's going to be nice. I think इसमें charging time is 25 watt to DC fast charging, 0 to 80 in 65 minutes,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And normal 15 ampere AC charging, I
Yes.
think it's going to take about 8.5 hours.
Yes.
0 to 80%. Finally.
बहुत बची है.
I'm finding the ride so strange because I'm always in cars that are diesel, and diesel cars make a lot of noise,
Yes.
and this is not making any.
सिर्फ टायर की noise, वहाँ पर noise
That
नहीं
also
है.
very little, very minimal because
Yes.
Tata usually uses good quality
Yes.
rubbers in their cars.
Yes.
You know, it's very minimal.
Yes.
Only if Tata had these kind of petrol engines, they are not as refined, but this is amazingly refined. I was expecting. I still wish that Tata does some changes to the price and makes it a bit cheaper because Nexon maybe they made it cheaper later.
Okay, so the battery pack is also not as big as the Nexon, but the charging is pretty good. The thing is, if you want it to be fast charging, it'll take 0 to 80% in just 65 minutes, which is spectacular. But if you want normal charging, which is not DC charging, it's going to be somewhere about 8 hours. I think it's about 8.5 hours for 0 to 80%. The big caveat though is that the fast charge is somewhere around 2.5 lakhs, which is a lot. And that brings me to the most important point of this car, its pricing. The base variant of the car is priced at 12 lakhs and the base variant of the Nexon is priced at 14 lakhs. So there's just 2 lakh difference. And I would suggest anyone who's ever interested in buying an EV, save more money, go for the Nexon. So basically it's not a very value for money car. But that could change because Tata did reduce the price of the Nexon EV later on. It was also very expensive in the beginning. So I hope that happens, but if it doesn't, right now it's not very good value. Because it's strange to say it, but a Tata car is not really value for money. The driving experience, as you realize, it's bonkers. It's just bonkers. The electrical whine that you get when you put it in the sport one, you just press hard on the throttle. It's crazy, it's great, and I like that there's no gear knob or something like that. It's just a dial selector, which should be the case because electric cars don't have gears. And let's not get to why Taycan has two. That's a different story altogether for another video. You can let me know in the comments below if you want to know more about that. But for this video, that was it, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be bringing more videos like this, so stay tuned and do log on to www.carthrust.com for more advice. Thank you.